This car cost $50,000 when it was new. I bought it for $500. And every single person told me the same thing. This car is dead. This is a BMW i3. It didn't drive. It didn't charge. And fixing it was supposed to be a complete waste of money.
Welcome to AutoNexus, where we don't just review cars, we break them down.
The previous owner was told not to even try. The dealer said it wasn't worth saving. When the car arrived at our shop, it didn't drive in. We had to push it inside. At first glance, it looked like a disaster. No heat, no charging, no movement. Honestly, this felt like one of those moments where you realize you might have made a terrible mistake. But instead of giving up, we decided to start with the basics. And that's when something unexpected happened. If this one part is bad, I instantly lose $1,500. The biggest risk on this BMW wasn't the battery. It was the range extender engine, the RX. It's small, it looks harmless, but it's one of the most expensive components in the entire car. If it didn't work, this whole project was pointless. We even made a bet. If the car could drive and the range extender turned on, I'd win. If not, I'd be paying $1,500. At this point, confidence and fear were fighting each other. Everything looked fine on paper. The battery was charged. But the moment we tried to put the car into drive, the dashboard lit up. Drivetrain malfunction. No movement. No drive. Just error messages. That bet suddenly felt very expensive. Modern electric cars don't fail randomly. There's always a reason. When an EV refuses to move, it's usually not software drama. It's something physical. A broken wire, corrosion, or a safety system doing its job. So instead of blaming the computer, we started inspecting the car. And that's when things got strange. Corrosion underneath, rodent droppings, wires that clearly didn't look factory anymore. That's when reality hit. This car wasn't just broken, it had been forgotten. We brought out a better diagnostic tool, and suddenly everything made sense. High voltage battery faults, interlock loop errors, short circuits. Basically, the car was angry. We cleared the codes and tried again. And suddenly, no warning lights.
If you're enjoying this journey, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it with someone who loves cars.
For a moment, it felt like we won the lottery. This is where everything changed. With the car lifted off the ground, we tried again. The wheels started spinning, and we just stood there for a second. Because after everything we were told, this car was moving under its own power.
The BMW i3 turned on a dime. Smooth, quiet, effortless. For a car everyone had written off as disposable, the engineering was impressive. At this point, the bet was half won. The car could drive, it charged, the heater worked. That $500 gamble was starting to feel real. But one question still mattered. Would the range extender engine actually turn on? We wasted hours, but learned something important. The range extender only turns on under very specific conditions. The battery has to be extremely low. The engine has to be warm. And there can't be a single active fault. Miss one condition and nothing happened.
So we stopped guessing and forced the situation.
Heater on full blast. Driving non-stop. Burning energy as fast as possible.
70 miles. 50. 30. At this point, frustration turned into determination. We weren't stopping. If this engine was ever going to save the car, this was the moment. And then, it happened. A strange sound. A vibrate. The range extender kicked on. For a moment, it felt like victory. Technically, that meant I won the bet. But that feeling didn't last long. Because the engine didn't sound healthy. It rattled. It struggled. The check engine light came back. This wasn't a win. This was a warning. This was neglect. Replacing the spark plugs and coil packs felt like a real turning point. For the first time, we weren't guessing. Just because something runs doesn't mean it's healthy. That's when we pulled the spark plugs. And instantly, the mystery made sense. They weren't just old. They were soaked, fouled, completely worn out. This explained everything. The engine would try to start, run terribly, and shut itself off. This wasn't damage. We were fixing. This was supposed to fix everything. It didn't. The engine started, but it still ran poorly.
Misfires. Warning lights. Bad noises. And this time, it hurt. Because we really believed it would work.
This wasn't just mechanical anymore.
This was personal. Walking away would have been smart. So obviously, we didn't. At this point, quitting made sense. But projects like this don't end that way. Instead of stopping, we doubled down. Another challenge. Another risk.
Because now, it wasn't about money.
Life. It was about proving whether this car could truly be saved. Here's the final truth. This BMW i3,
It charges. It heats.
and the range extender does turn on. But the engine isn't healthy. Not yet. This car wasn't junk. It wasn't dead. It was abandoned. And there's a huge difference.
Next time, we either fix both i3s with no warning lights,
Or I finally learn my lesson.
either way, this story isn't over.
If you want to see what happens next, subscribe and stay with us.